Eastern, and welcome to the final edition of ETV News for this semester. It's December 11th, and I'm Connor O'Malley.
And I'm Imani Futrell. Thank you so much for joining us.
We begin tonight with our top story. Eastern Connecticut State University's police department is investigating a robbery and assault that occurred here on campus at approximately 6:30 p.m. Wednesday night. The incident took place in the parking lot area in the rear of 190 High Street. The student victims were parked in a parking space when a red four-door car pulled in behind them. A witness to the incident said that the women appeared to be driving the car that had 2 or 3 other occupants. The victims told police that the 2 suspects exited the red car and assaulted both of them and robbed one of them of cash. One victim reported that one of the suspects may have had a firearm in his waistband. The red car then left the parking lot and proceeded down High Street towards Prospect Street. The victims refused medical attention at the scene. Eastern Police are still investigating and are asking anyone with information about the incident to contact the University Police Department at 860-465-5310.
Eastern Connecticut geography professor Patrick Vitale recently won the 2017 Ashby Prize for an article he wrote. Vitale's article is titled "Making Science Suburban: The Suburbanization of Industrial Research and the Invention of Research Men." The article explains how labor and workers themselves started to become diversified, starting in the early 1900s. Industrial firms began calling scientists and engineers research men. Vitale's paper describes the important role of science and engineering and how these roles were originally built on inequality and justice. The Ashby Prize is given out once per calendar year to most innovative published paper.
ECSU held several events in commemoration of Native American Heritage Month in November. Events featured prominent figures and speakers from the local Native American community. The celebration also included demonstrations of music, jewelry making, and natural medicines. Many Native communities are not recognized by the federal government, as obtaining federal recognition requires extensive documentation. Eastern hosted 2 prominent speakers, internationally acclaimed author and environmental activist Winona LaDuke and Chief Marilyn Malerba of the Mohegan tribe, who is the first female chief in the tribe's modern history. Native American Heritage Month events were co-sponsored by the Intercultural Center Arthur L. Johnson Unity Wing, the Office of Equity and Diversity, the Institute of Sustainable Energy, and the Department of Sociology, Anthropology, Criminology, and Social Work.
The music program at Eastern Connecticut State University will host 7 programs in early December to enrich the cultural life of the campus and local community. Events will range from holiday concerts to family-friendly productions and will be held in the Fine Arts Instructional Center Concert Hall. Admission for all concerts are free. Donations are gratefully accepted at the door on December 7th at 7:30 p.m. Faculty members Chris Howard and David Bellina will present an evening of favorites from the clarinet and piano repertory as a part of faculty recital series. The evening will feature works by Johannes Brahms.
With finals just a few days left in the semester, ETV News reporter Ryan Gable traveled over to the Student Center to check in with Eastern students to see how they are getting ready for final exams.
Finals week is one of the most stressful times for college students. I'm here at the Student Center to see how everyone's preparing for their exams.
I'm going to be going to the library and looking over my textbooks, but also going to my teachers to ask them the best ways to study.
So my finals this year are a lot of group term papers. So it's really just been having meetings with each group and working on it steadily throughout the semester. I don't really have a lot of sit-down finals, so that's nice.
Well, being a junior now, it's something you do every year, and it's you're getting used to it. So it's just looking at textbooks and reading over notes and stuff that you take in lectures. So old quizzes and tests, papers, so articles, all the good stuff.
Just wing it. No, I'm kidding. Make flashcards, study, go to the library, use your resources.
I spend most of my nights studying until midnight, reviewing all of my notes, making flashcards and Quizlets.
Just trying to get a lot of sleep, definitely trying to stay alive and try to do as much as I can to be alert and aware for finals. Maybe a lot of coffee, a lot of caffeine, a lot of Frappuccino, stuff like that.
Students also offer advice on how to prepare for their final exams.
I think the best thing that you can do to prepare for them is just manage your time effectively. And if you don't already, make a schedule and just stick to it.
A lot of reading, whatever articles you got, just keep reading and reading and reading. So highlight take notes, a lot of that stuff.
Just make sure you have like a good schedule, like you know what you're doing. Don't get all too caught up, wait for stuff to be last minute. That's how like stuff gets to go awry and like just doesn't go too well, I guess.
My advice to give people with the finals is just don't stress about it. Study hard, and focus on what you want to do.
Not to get too stressed about it. You gotta give yourself some breaks to allow yourself to recuperate, but also to stay pretty focused on your work.
With finals week just around the corner, make sure to study hard and get plenty of rest. For ETV News, I'm Ryan Gable.
Eastern has many resources that can help students prepare for their final exams, including the Math Achievement Center and Writing Center. Both are located on the bottom floor of the library.
Curious about where to park during a parking ban? Here is some information so you can avoid any unnecessary parking fines from December 1st through March 31st. There is no overnight parking on the 4th floors of the parking garages. When the university declares a winter parking ban, parking will not be allowed on campus streets or open-air parking lots. Check the weather hotline for cancellations and parking bans at 860-465-4444 or refer to any email notifications or Eastern Alert notifications.
Throughout the fall semester, many students have reported issues pertaining to connecting to the wireless internet service in the residence halls. When issues are reported to residence hall staff, they are immediately conveyed to the Division of Information Technology Services. As a result of the concerns that have been communicated, a plan has been put in place that includes contracting a technology consultant. Additionally, more wireless access points will be installed in the residence halls to boost signal strength. All residential students are encouraged to continue to report any issues or concerns with the wireless technology to the ITS Help Desk by calling 860-465-4346. You can also visit the Help Desk, which is located in the library in room 236.
On December 9th at 12:30 p.m., a talented cast of Eastern students, alumni, and faculty will collaborate to present Emil and the Night Visitors. This 50-minute opera tells the story of this Maggie from the point of view from a young boy, Emil, and his widowed mother. Eastern's fully staged and costume production of this holiday classic captures the childlike excitement and mystery of the season, and is great for children and families. Donations of new and unwrapped toys and games will be accepted at the door and donated to a local toy drive.
A group of history students from Eastern visited Gettysburg National Military Park on Veterans Day weekend. Students who enrolled in Professor Barbara Tucker's Civil War and Reconstruction course or Professor Thomas Balcerski's Antebellum America course went on the trip. The park is the site of Civil War's Battle of Gettysburg, the event that inspired President Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. The group also paid tribute to various Connecticut regiments that fought in the battle by laying flowers at their respective monuments. They visited the Soldiers' National Cemetery, the site of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, before returning to Eastern.
The Hot Chocolate Run is an annual fundraiser to benefit Safe Passage, an organization dedicated to providing support for victims of domestic violence or relationship abuse. Kara Bergstrom Lynch, a sociology professor at Eastern, participated in a road race on December 2nd to honor the late Alicia Wiley, who was an Eastern sophomore killed by her boyfriend in 2013. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner physical violence, sexual violence, and stalking. This year's Hot Chocolate Run raised more than $628,000 for Safe Passage. For Eastern students who are seeking assistance of support, please contact Eastern Sexual Assault and Interpersonal Violence Response Team. Additionally, the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence has a 24/7 telephone line at 888-774-2900.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Sierra Williams will be here with this week's editorial. Stay with us.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hey ECSU, I'm Sayra Williams with this week's editorial. It's that time of year where we dust off our textbooks, crack open our notebooks, and get ready for finals. On that last week of school, many students experience stress, anxiety, and the unwanted pressure of ending this year on a good note. Why should we have to put ourselves through this emotional roller coaster if we worked hard all year? Why should we have to take an exam if the entire school year consists of tests, midterms, and quizzes? Our progress has already been recorded throughout the year, so adding another evaluation seems redundant. A student who has been getting A's or B's in the entire year will do really good on the final. They understand and they remember a lot from the entire year, and they have good work ethic. If someone has been getting a 30% in the class, they probably won't do too well on the final. Learning a semester worth of content in 1 week isn't possible. This is a time where everyone starts to cram for information just to pass the test. Does anyone actually remember everything they learned throughout the semester? Students only focus on passing the test, not learning the material. Come spring or semester, we see the finalized grade and move on. We have no physical way of seeing our exam grades and understand what we have wrong. Once the opportunity is over, it's over. I propose that we shouldn't have finals at the end of each semester because it takes an emotional toll on students. Classes where exams are weighed heavily, ones that can tank your average that took a whole semester to attain, puts more stress on the student. Keep in mind that as a young adult, we have to prepare ourselves for internships, the spring semester, and other co-curricular activities. It seems like from the beginning of time, finals have always been a part of education. That being said, will my proposition be acknowledged? Yes. Will it actually happen? Maybe when pigs fly. Thank you for joining me on this week's editorial. Let's send it back over to Connor and Imani.
Thanks, Sayra. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included, and I knew that I was going to be okay.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
George H.W. Bush, the 41st President of the United States, has recently passed away. He was 94 years old. Bush grew up in Connecticut and is a graduate of Yale. Also a World War II veteran, he is considered by some to be the most qualified person to ever serve in the office. Serving as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, CIA Director, and Vice President under Ronald Reagan before being elected to President in 1988. Vice President Mike Pence offered these words about the former Commander-in-Chief at a service in the Capitol in Washington, D.C. earlier this week.
President George Herbert Walker Bush loved his family, and he served his country. His example will always inspire, and his lifetime of service will be enshrined in the hearts of the American people forever.
Bush will always be remembered for his lifetime of service. He summarized his ambitions in a diary entry in 1989. 1 year after he had become president, he said in part, "I'm certainly not seen as visionary, but I hope I'm seen as steady and prudent and able."
Many people came to pay their respects as President Bush lied in the state Capitol rotunda, but one moment in particular had a lasting impact. This is Sully, a 2-year-old golden lab. Sully was with President Bush for the last 6 months of his life. He joined the former president's side just a few weeks after First Lady Barbara Bush passed away. Their connection was instant. Sully was there to help the president do anything from opening doors to retrieving dropped items. Their bond is undeniable, and earlier this week, Sully got to pay his final respects to his previous owner. Sully will stay in Washington, D.C. His new job is now helping soldiers recover in Walter Reed Medical Center.
George H.W. Bush was honored Wednesday morning at a state funeral in Washington. Hundreds of guests filled the National Cathedral to say goodbye for the final time to the 41st President of the United States. Guests include many dignitaries, among them President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, Barack and Michelle Obama, the Clintons, and the Carters. President George W. Bush eulogized his father, calling him a patriot.
Dad could relate to people from all walks of life. He was an empathetic man. He valued character over pedigree, and he was no cynic. He looked for the good in each person, and he usually found it. Dad taught us that public service is noble and necessary, that one can serve with integrity and hold true to the important values like faith and family. He strongly believed that it was important to give back to the community and country in which one lived. He recognized that serving others enriched the giver's soul. To us, his was the brightest of 1,000 points of light.
John Meacham, presidential historian and author, spoke about President Bush's life, one that was dedicated to helping others.
His life was no longer his own. There were always more missions to undertake, more lives to touch, and more love to give.
And though he was a man who dedicated his life to serving his country, George H.W. Bush was remembered by his family simply as a loving husband, father, and grandfather. Following the service, Bush will be laid to rest next to his wife and daughter in a private ceremony Thursday at his presidential library in College Station, Texas.
On Tuesday, CIA Director Gina Haspel briefed a group of senators on the death of Saudi Arabian journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Senators from both parties weren't happy last week when Haspel wasn't at a closed-door meeting about the murder and the U.S.'s involvement. After her meeting with top senators, there was no doubt in Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy's mind what happened.
I mean, there can't be a cover-up when everybody knows what the truth is. I mean, everybody knows that this was a personal hit squad, a personal rendition squad for Mohammed bin Salman. And so as much as they don't want to tell us that in public or private, I think most people that follow Saudi Arabia came to that conclusion a long time ago.
This has been a bipartisan issue. Both sides are calling for the Trump administration to reevaluate the United States' involvement with Saudi Arabia, one of those senators being Florida's Marco Rubio.
I disagree with that assessment.
I think most people that have seen it, and I'm telling you this, it's not based on intelligence. I don't need intelligence. I think you know enough, and the American public knows enough about Saudi Arabia and about this murder to conclude that whether or not we have a smoking gun, there is no way that 17 people that close to that crown prince go to Turkey and murder a guy at a consulate and he not know about it.
U.S. intelligence officials have concluded that the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at least knew about the plot to kill Khashoggi.
Rumors are swirling as to who is going to challenge Donald Trump in the 2020 presidential election. Many Democrats are traveling all across the country trying to see what a potential run for the highest office in the land might look like. One of those people being Senator Kamala Harris, who still has not said definitely if she will run for president in 2020. Harris is in her first term as senator and made history as the first African-American woman to represent California in the Senate. Former Vice President Joe Biden is also considering a run, saying during a stop on a book tour Monday that, quote, "I'll be as straight with you as I can. I think I'm the most qualified person in the country to be president." In addressing his qualifications, Biden said the issues facing the nation today are the same ones he's been working on for a lifetime. And on Tuesday, another well-known name weighed in on a possible run. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg visited the crucial early voting state of Iowa. Bloomberg, formerly an independent and Republican, recently re-registered as a Democrat. He also spent more than $110 million in last month's midterms to help Democrats gain control of the House of Representatives. While in Iowa, Bloomberg said he isn't asking for votes just yet, but he did make the case for why he would be qualified to be president.
I can't speak for anybody else. I do think that after 12 years in City Hall dealing with international problems and security problems and economic problems and creating jobs and the environment and guns and women's rights and tobacco and all these things, that I have a lot of experience which would be useful if I was president of the United States. That doesn't mean I'm going to run, and it doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't be equally as qualified. But you have to go and say, okay, what have you done? And look back and see whether the people who are asking for your vote actually have the experience. It's one thing to say something, it's a different thing to have actually done it.
Harris, Biden, and Bloomberg all say they will make their decision on a run within the next few months.
Since Drake broke all previous streaming records with his album Scorpion that was released earlier this year, it was no surprise that he was named Spotify's most streamed artist of 2018. The Toronto-born rapper topped the chart with 8.2 billion streams on the popular music app. That app also makes Drake the most streamed artist in the app's history. Spotify wasn't the only app that people listened to his music on. He was also named the most streamed artist on Apple Music. Other artists that made the list include Post Malone, Ed Sheeran, and XXXTentacion. Ariana Grande was announced as the most streamed female artist of 2018, with her songs being streamed over 3 billion times. We're going to take another quick break, but we'll be back with Jack Petrucci and his sports update.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Welcome back, Eastern. I'm Jack Petrucci with the final sports update of the semester. The women's basketball team had their Little East Conference home opener this past Saturday against the UMass Boston Beacons. And there you see Maya Villard coming off the Little East Conference Player of the Week, averaging 14.5 points per game, go along with 8 rebounds. And the Beacons, the UMass Boston, the 2018 Little East Conference tournament champions, and it was a close game here early, but Megan Dixon, with the Beacons down 1, has a spot-up three-pointer that puts UMass Boston back up 2. But how about this little run for Julie Jordan? So she has an open three-pointer on the wing, sinks that one there, and then just a couple plays later, this time it's freshman Julie Keckler who took it down, and Julie Jordan at the top of the wing kind of fumbled it at first, but able to regain it there, and the nice kiss off the glass going up, and that put Eastern Connecticut back on up four, and then Julie Jordan on the defensive end. This time Jelani Jackson's going to drive, and how about that swat? Right down over on that block. We're going to get another look at this one, but how about the reaction? Julie Jordan, yeah, she's feeling it. Getting her teammates hyped up as Eastern Connecticut still had a lead in this one. Going into the third quarter of play now, as UMass Boston trails by 6, and Tajaja Mazik is going to have a nice bounce pass there to Megan Dixon. Once again, that cut the lead down to 4 points. And then the Beacons back again. This one's going to be stolen away as it's taken away by Jelani Jackson. Then another great find to Tajaja Mazik, And Mazik in this game, 20 points on 10 for 18 shooting from the field, but still in the third quarter with the Warriors up 3. Maya Villard bodying her way down the post, able to get an easy bucket there. And then with 45 seconds left, Sabrina Lemire with a textbook find down low to Ayanna Ward. That put the Warriors up in this one. Heading into the final quarter of play, Eastern Connecticut had an 8-point lead, but the Beacons weren't going anywhere. It's Tajaja Mazik going to drive, kick it out to Jelani Jackson, who knocks down a three-pointer. She's shooting over 70% from the three-point line, and a big one there. And this time it's Jackson again, with the Beacons down 5 with a good layup off the top of the glass there, making this one a close game. 30 seconds left. Kelsey Santagata with a beautiful find to Maya Villard. Here it is again, another look as Santagata with great alertness there. Nothing they could do about that one. One more time, laying it off the glass, and Eastern Connecticut would catch a huge victory, take down the defending Little East Conference champions, and win this one 75-70. And on top of beating UMass Boston, the Warriors got a huge 99-70 victory while on the road against Western Connecticut last Wednesday. Maya Villard had a dominant performance, dropping 34 points, 19 rebounds, and 3 assists. Eastern is now 5-2 on the season and will take on Plymouth State on the road this Saturday at 1 o'clock. As for the men's basketball team, they were also in action on Saturday at home against the Beacons. As you can see there, Eastern Connecticut looking to get a win at the Francis C. Geisler Gymnasium. How about this stat? Eastern Connecticut has won the last 21 games against UMass Boston in the total series, and, well, they picked up right where they left off. Leo Hyatt gets the rebound, finds a wide open Corey Muckle at the top of the key, knocking that one down. But Corey Muckle was sure not done there. Once again, Carlos Gonzalez hits him right at the top of the key. 6 quick points for Corey Muckle there. And then on the defensive end, this one's going to be taken away, and Carlos Gonzalez, how about this find? A wide open Corey Muckle on the wing. He knocks that one down, up 15-2 early, but Corey Muckle, 9 points, 3 of 3 from behind the three-point arc. In the first 4 minutes of the game, the Warriors were cruising. We're going to take a look at Carlos Gonzalez, and this is all in the first half of play. So gets his opponent to stumble, and then how about that finish going hard at the rack right there. We're going to get another look at this one, just tucking that one back, and a nice touch off the glass with the finish. But Gonzalez now has it on the wing. He's going to miss the three-point shot, follow his shot, a nice spin move, and a beautiful feed down low to Sharon Fowler. Here it is again. A great move and a nasty find down low to Sharon Fowler. And then here Gonzalez is one more time with 4 minutes left in the first. First there, he's going to get this backdoor pass from Donnie Craig. And how about the hang time? Going up in midair, opposite hand, switching, reversing it, laying that one in. Gonzalez had all the feels in this one as Eastern Connecticut with a dominant 82-59 victory, extending their win streak to 22 games against UMass Boston. However, after this big win against UMass Boston, the Warriors suffered a 10-point loss to cross-state rival Western Connecticut on Wednesday. They look to bounce back as they will travel to Plymouth State this Saturday. Game tips at 3 o'clock. And that'll do it for this week and the semester here at Eastern. I hope all of our viewers have a safe and enjoyable holiday season. Connor and Imani, back to you.
Thanks, Jack. That's it for this week's show.
Thank you so much for joining us.
To keep up to date with all things ETV News, be sure to follow us on Instagram at ETVNews_ and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Also, make sure you like us on Facebook at ETV News, ECSU. And if you have any ideas for things you'd like to see on the show, email us at etv@my.easternct.edu. I'm Imani Futrell.
And I'm Connor O'Malley. We'll see you next semester, Eastern.